Hello and welcome to the SAP HANA Academy. My name is Dennis van Kempen, and in this video tutorial series we will discuss SAP HANA administration. In this video we will look into starting and stopping SAP HANA. I'm connected here to a Windows computer and have started SAP HANA Studio with the Administration Console perspective selected. In our Systems view we can see that our system is down, and to start it just simply select the system, right click, select Configuration and Monitoring, and then Start System. In the dialog that opens you can specify a start wait timeout, and as mentioned the start wait timeout defines how long to wait for an instance to start, and if the timeout is exceeded the remaining instances are not started. This assumes of course we're dealing with a distributed system with multiple instances. In our case this does not apply, we have a single host instance, so I'll just accept the default and select OK. The Administration Console in diagnosis mode will open. That's the same if you select this one, and it will show us the different processes and its status. As you can see, some are initializing and others are already running. As discussed in our architecture video, there are multiple processes part of an SAP HANA system. We have the index server, which is the actual database engine, but we will also have, for example, the application server, the access engine, and there is the daemon that monitors all the other systems. When all services are started, the system appears as operational, the green square, in the Systems view. Well, very good. To stop SAP HANA, you perform the same steps. Right-click, Configuration Monitoring, Stop System. Again, it will stop all instances of system HTTP and based on the specified parameters, which is the shutdown type and the stop wait timeout. A soft shutdown triggers a save point operation before all services are stopped, and during save point all modified data is written to disk, and a hard stop will stop the system immediately and open transactions are aborted and roll back, and therefore a subsequent restart may take longer. Select OK. We'll see that the daemon is stopping, and with it, it will stop all other services. And here we see that our system is down. You may have noticed that there is a third option. You can also select a restart. This triggers a stop and then a start. Let's open the Administration Console. Under Landscape tab we see the same services. Here we have a few more options. Here we can, for example, stop or start individual services. You need to have the system privilege service admin to be able to stop and start services. This is a database system privilege, so not an operating system privilege. When would you need to stop and start services? Well, typically not very often. One of the services here is the daemon. This service is part of the SAP HANA High Availability Architecture, and this service monitors all other services and will start them when they're not running. Now, some configuration parameter changes require a restart of the service. Say you make some changes to the built-in application server, the HANA Access Engine. In this case, it might be necessary to restart the Access Engine, and this is where you would do that. We have a couple of options. Stop does a normal restart. Yes, we will not stop it. Kill, well, this is a Unix operating system terminology. It will do a hard stop and start again. Reconfigure service will apply any changes made to the system configuration file and restart if needed. And stop missing services will start any inactive service. As mentioned, this happens automatically in the background. You also have the option to remove the services, and this would typically apply to a distributed configuration, and you would just run certain services on one host and not on all of the nodes. One important thing to know, the daemon service does not monitor itself, so if you shut it down, all services will stop. It's the equivalent of a hard stop of the SAP HANA database. Now, how does this look for multi-tenant databases? In this case, you need to execute the start command from the system database, and typically all tenant databases are then started. However, if a tenant database was previously stopped separately, it is not started with system. Now if we take a look at that, here we have our system database, and here we can stop and start the database just like a regular database. If we do this from the tenant, you will see we have no such option. To stop any tenant database, connect to system, open a SQL console, and enter the command alter system stop database and the database name. This will stop the tenant database. At this stage, if we would restart the system database, the tenant would no longer be started. So if we want the tenant to start again, we have to start it manually with the alter system start database command. Okay, now what do you do if you do not have HANA Studio but just a terminal session to the HANA server? In this case, you can use the HDB stop and HDB start command. Let's take a look. Here we have a terminal session open. We need to be connected as the SID ADM user, same as with HANA Studio. If you just type HDB, you see the different options you have for this command. HDB start will start HANA. So here we go. Note that the instance is starting using the SAP control command. Now, if you have done any SAP NetWeaver administration in the past, you will be familiar with SAP control. It's the same operating system command, and you'll need SAP control, for example, also to start SAP HANA in a distributed environment. Also note the start wait parameter is the same as in SAP HANA Studio. Okay, HTTP info will give us information about the status. Same for HTTP process. HTTP version will return the installed version. And HTTP kill is the equivalent of stopping a service in HANA Studio. Kill-15 will do it gracefully, and kill-9 will do a hard stop. And as mentioned, this should never be done in a productive environment. These are all Unix commands. If you've done any Linux or Unix administration in the past, you may have noticed that the output looks very similar to the PS command with the flag fx. And in fact, here we see the command define. So should we select this and run it on the command line, we get the same output. If we do a file on the HTTP command to get the type, we can see that is a shell script. So we can open it with an editor, VI for example. And we can see that the environment is source, that it's checked if you're not using it as root. And then, for example, here we run the HTTP start command, which is SAP control. Of course, you would never change these files. This is just for your information. When you run it from HANA Studio, the same things will happen. SAP control is performing the task in the background. Starting and stopping SAP HANA is documented in the SAP HANA administration guide. You can read or download this guide free of charge from the SAP Help portal on help.sap.com. Thank you for watching this SAP HANA Academy video.